Best Picture award. The Academy Awards went to Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Just like I told you earlier, it capped off a groundbreaking award season and became the most awarded Best Picture winner since 2008's Slumdog Millionaire. Everything, Everywhere took home 7 Oscars and under night, including
and the Oscar
Best
goes
Picture,
to
Director, Original
Everything,
Screenplay,
Everywhere, All
Lead Actress,
Daniel Kwan, Daniel Scheinert.
Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert began conceiving their screenplay in 2010.
All right. Okay, I had a fantasy as a kid of winning an award and going up and telling off all the teachers that gave my brother and I detention. So here goes. I'm just kidding. These are teachers that changed my life, most of them public school teachers. Miss Dumeyer, Mr. Toole, Mr. Hudson, Miss...
There. Well, let's bring in Arise Entertainment correspondents Kachi, Offiah and Judita Dasilva live in Los Angeles. Good to see you again, ladies. How's the night been?
You too. Oh, Drew, how's the night been?
It has been emotional, it has been entertaining, it has been surprising. And it's been the Oscars, basically, let's put it like that. From the minute it started with the Naval Service did a flyover where they were only 1,000 feet above us. And basically everyone around was just looking like, is the plane going to crash? They just didn't realize because they hadn't prepped us for it. So it was one of the surprises. And that set the tone for the evening. It was shock after shock, but then expected after expected, and Kimmel after Kimmel.
But honestly, for me, I would say it was a lot of build-up of excitement, but then it was kind of just like, it just crashed at some point in time. You know, there were so many speculations, and I would say it was the typical Oscar event. I would say that for a fact. A lot of things that we had expected to happen, a lot of surprises that we had intended to see, we ended up not seeing. A lot of things we expected to happen did not happen. So it almost just felt like we were watching the show because we wanted to see something, which we ended up not even getting. But then, of course, as a result of the build-up that happened prior to the show, there was major anticipation to watch the show. I will not be surprised if they notice the ratings come down to, say, the middle of the show. Because at the start of the show, we were all just waiting to see, for instance, the Oscar slap. We all thought it was going to be a big conversation, but turns out it was just a joke.
It was a series of jokes, but they weren't scathing. They were just obvious.
That, this is what we're talking about. Like Jimmy Kimmel making reference to the fact that he had, a bunch
backup
of people.
And all the...
He had
Pedro Pascal.
That was really hilarious. But I would say that the jokes were definitely not offensive in any way. It was just something so that people know, this is not going to happen again, and you all need to sit in your seats. Cocaine Bear, I would say for me was a really nice distraction from the reality of the event, which of course was kind of disappointing. What do you think about that?
I think so. I think in a weird way it struck a good balance. But I think like what you were saying about Jimmy Kimmel, that's pretty much why they hired him. It's someone you can rely upon to steady the ship and take it to its destination. Any awkwardness was kind of taken out of the air by just addressing it, but addressing it in a funny way. But then, I think we'll probably, as we go over the conversation, start delving into those surprises we've kind of mentioned to kind of tease what's coming next.
Precisely. So that's just a summary of how the event was. Back to you, Ken.
Everything, Everywhere appears to being everywhere. How many nods did they pick up tonight? And what's the feeling like for those directors?
Oh my goodness.
Listen, I was in the trailer, and there were a couple of Asian journalists there. The moment Michelle Yeoh was announced, the moment everything everywhere all at once was announced, I was taking a nap. This man yelled, and I just jumped up. I was like, oh my God, what just happened? The excitement is so real. This man was about to start crying. A big conversation this year has been Asian representation, and I think Everything Everywhere All at Once was one of those moments that you're just really, really glad about. Incredibly just joyful to see it celebrated in the way it was. I was not expecting Best Director, say for instance.
That's a strange thing. I was expecting that because I said if anyone was going to beat them, it was going to be a nostalgia vote for Steven Spielberg. But then when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. On the back of COVID, the anti-Asian sentiment has spiked. Violence toward Asians, particularly in America, has spiked. So there's been a rallying around them and also within their community to kind of look after each other. And then this film comes comes along. It's not very expensive. And when you hear the stories of how Michelle Yeoh came on board, how Jamie Lee Curtis came on board, how Kiki Khan came on board, it was a labor of love, and people love that. That's why you have this family experience between them. Whenever they win, everyone gets emotional. You know the sisterhood between Jamie Lee Curtis and Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
But to think that they walk away tonight with the big four: Best Film, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Original Screenplay, it's a slam dunk, and A24 is going to be popping bottles all night.
100%. You could almost guess that they knew this was going to happen, because if you remember when the directors walked up the red carpet, they were dancing. He was, giving. He was really
I call that differently. I think it's because they're like, this might never happen in our lives again. Let's party.
Think of Michelle Yeoh walking up the carpet.
That made
grace
sense.
that she came in.
But she's a veteran.
She is, but there's also
the Daniels are young.
There's also that, and everyone kept screaming their names.
Yeah.
To be honest, most people did expect them to go away
with a selection, but not the big four.
Not the big four. I mean, imagine literally you have Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress and Best Supporting Actor on the same row. Unprecedented.
That award, Best Supporting Actress, Kachi, you did. I've seen the images of Angela Bassett, whom everyone was expecting would sweep up that award, but she didn't look very happy.
Listen, I feel that this is one of those moments where, you know what, I kind of blame Ariana DeBose, because if she didn't do Angela Bassett did a thing, maybe.
Oh my God!
No,
stop
Drew,
it.
listen now. It's going to be a thing on Twitter.
What?
Now think about it. Yeah, that face, first of all, that.
Oh my gosh! It hurt me to my soul.
I talked about it for like 30 minutes. To the point where it was like, I just stop talking about it. It happened. Get over it.
Remember, it's similar to the expression Denzel Washington had on his face in the year of Fences.
Yeah.
What you're dealing with is actors in their 70s. They've lived it all. They've done everything you've asked of them. Stellar performance after stellar performance. But look particularly at Angela Bassett. 29 years since What's Love Got to Do with It?
Yeah.
Everyone universally has said, it's her time. It's got to be her time. It's an exceptional performance. First acting nominee for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
That means she has Disney behind her.
Yeah.
It made no... Listen, I have a controversial take as to why she didn't win, which is the politics of the tone of America at the moment. And I think she fell victim to it, because we have an Oscars where the Asian representation is off the Richter.
Yes, it is.
You need to wrestle it back. When you think about the nomination for To Leslie and things like that, that is a subliminal message saying that the voters behind her are like, okay, this is still the Oscars.
Yes,
and the person who fell victim is Angela Bassett.
So in a nutshell, it's like we cannot give too much.
Yeah.
If we're going to give this, we're going to take this back.
Yeah.
So of course, Viola Davis did not get nominated.
Yep.
Danielle Deadwyler did not get nominated, and of course now Angela Bassett did not get her Oscar. But I do think it was too much of a sacrifice, if you ask me, because again, I don't think there's any one person who saw Jamie Lee. I mean, of course, great work to her. She did a fantastic job in everything.
But by comparison, it's not a better performance.
Precisely. I was not expecting to hear.
Listen, based on what my face looked like, I totally got what Angela Bassett was going through, because it was not... But then when you think about it, let's be pragmatic and objective. Jamie Lee Curtis represents something very important in Hollywood, which is pedigree. She's the daughter of two golden age stars of Hollywood, Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh. She's carried the mantle for them. She's been consistent. She champions femininity. She keeps saying, like, don't do surgery, be natural.
Yeah.
She's like a Lauren Bacall. People love that about her. She calls it as it is. There's no artifice.
Yeah.
So she's loved by people within the industry, and she's a solid actress, and she's been doing it for decades. So on paper, can we begrudge her the win? No, but at Angela's expense? Yes.
And let's not forget that, as much as we all love Jamie Lee Curtis, she did do Halloween Ends until tomorrow.
But that's because I like actresses.
That was
I like actresses and actors who service their fan base. It's like William Shatner said about Star Trek. You are a part of people's lives. You might be too cool for it now, but put that to the side because you're a part of people's lives.
So it's a really unfortunate one. And if you also notice, Drew, of all the nominees that Black Panther Wakanda Forever, of all the nominations they had, they only got one.
Ruth Carter.
Which was exactly costume design. I was quite disappointed at that as well. You know, we always said it that Lift Me Up or Natu Natu was going to take home original song. But I did expect in other categories as well. I expected for hair and makeup at least.
I know.
But then if Angela Bassett wasn't getting Best Supporting Actress, there was no reason Camilla Friend would have gotten.
Listen, we know the Academy, and it's a Rise News, we can be honest.
Yes.
It wasn't that. It looked like everyone knew it was going to be a clean sweep. It's going to be an Asian year. They couldn't make it an Asian and a black year.
Sorry, unfortunately.
Very well. Let's talk about Ke Huy Quan. Was it surprising that he won the award for Best Supporting Actor?
No. I was almost crying.
I almost cried because if you think about it, like, he's a part of my life, he's a part of your life.
Yes.
Short Round was the coolest kid ever.
Yes.
And then when you hear that he tells a story, no one believed he could make a comeback but his wife. And she pushed him and stuck with him, and it just made everybody feel like when you have, like Gaga said, when you have one person who believes in you, it can make you fly. And Ke Huy Quan represents so many stories in Hollywood where you were right at the top, the whole world loved you, and you lost it all, and you don't know why, because you're still the same person. And to come back in a way where you have a clean sweep of every award in award season, I was in bits when I saw him, because it just felt like that's when God shines down on you and says, it's your time.
It's your time. Quite honestly, I would definitely say if the Oscars did get one thing right, that moment was it. Right from when Ariana DeBose and Troy Fitzgerald were going to announce his name, and Ariana DeBose just literally just started crying.
She was us.
You know, she was us. And you then ask yourself, why? You know, is this something that you could have possibly... You couldn't stage that moment, that particular moment. Everyone was in tears. Michelle Yeoh was crying. Jamie Lee Curtis was crying. You know, he was crying.
My stony heart almost made me cry.
I was so emotional. It was it was the most beautiful award, because it then reminds, you know, this year has been the year for indie films. And there's been so many people within the regular space that I think could really glean into a lot of inspiration from these years. The fact that indie movies can be successful, the fact that you can, like you said, lose everything and come right back, that was one story that I feel somebody would watch and be like, that could be me.
And also, like that point, the indie movie, actors often find that's my way back, because when the big offers stop coming, the phone stops ringing, your agent stops calling you back. Indie people who are the true lovers of film will remember you from that thing that inspired them, because the Daniel speeches always talk about how they were inspired by watching the people in the room, and that's how they found Ke Huy Quan.
Back to you, Ken.
The 54-year-old Brendan Fraser has picked up the award for Best Actor.
Yes. Ooh, well, I mean, I would have loved to have that Austin Butler moment. I would have loved to.
Would you?
I would. It would have been nice, Drew.
You see, we've been going back and forth about this, because I'm a champion for Brendan.
I don't know why we keep doing this.
I know why.
Okay, why?
It's because Austin Butler is ridiculously handsome.
Yes.
If you see him in person, it's ridiculous.
Listen, he looked like milk.
He looks like CGI. Like he's not real.
His hair.
I want to like touch his face and go, really?
Okay, I shouldn't say that on TV.
Yeah.
But the point is, it would have been a beautiful one if Austin Butler actually claimed that Oscar. You know, I was really curious to hear what he was going to say.
Listen, the other thing is, the people upset about Austin Butler not winning is all women. Film lovers are fully happy that Brendan Fraser has won. It just proves it.
No, Drew, listen, but I would say I was expecting a lot more from Brendan Fraser's speech. Maybe it was an emotional
He's
thing.
so emotional. Because if you follow his story, because remember, he was like a Ke Huy Quan.
Yes,
he was big in the 90s. Like, I remember him from all the cool films then and the 80s. And then he kind of just became not very popular, and he wasn't getting offers, and he faded away, and then had problems in the industry. To find someone where you dig into that human pain, because the response to The Whale has always been, it's so human. You don't have to suffer from morbid obesity. That desire to love and be loved in return has resonated with people, and you can see that that's where reality and and performance come together. He tapped into his pain, particularly at the end of the film, where I almost burst out crying, and I'm a cold-hearted person.
Well, you see, now that is the issue. For every single person we've spoken to, especially the film editor, Matt Villa, for Elvis, Austin Butler portrayed a real person. He portrayed Elvis, and he did this in the most incredible way possible. Rami Malek did that for Freddie Mercury, and we were all like oohs and ahs. I feel Austin Butler deserves so much more from that performance than he's actually getting. And I hate to think that Brendan Fraser's win, as much as it was fantastic, but there was also the emotional side to it.
No, let me give you this. Austin Butler doing Elvis, he has all the study material available to him because it's a real person.
That's true.
Brendan needed to build from zero.
You're right.
That's when it comes to acting. There's more being demanded of Brendan than there is of Austin.
Yeah.
Austin is just, can you do a good enough impersonation?
And
Brendan
did he
is,
do it?
he did.
He did.
100% he did.
He did.
But Brendan built everything from scratch.
And you have to give it to him, though. He did a great job. I mean, looking at him on the carpet today, I don't get. He's just so calm.
That's because he's been doing this since we were babies.
Right?
Yeah.
It's almost like you guys finally. Geez.
And also, I think what he was doing is he was preparing himself in case he lost.
Oh, see, and that just makes me want to cry because he looked so calm on the carpet. You know, he just walked.
He was like, "I'm not a celebrity," with his wife, just walked in. Yeah.
Hello, and he was just very. He wasn't like, you know, he just. Oh, such a sweet man. Okay, now I changed my mind. You see me? You see? This is what he does. This is what happens to everyone.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to you, Ken.
Now, but Lady Gaga eventually showed up on stage. They did say she wasn't going to perform, but she showed off performing that track from Top Gun Maverick, and we hear it's won the award for Best Sound.
Lady Gaga's performance.
Oh, I was so worried about her because when she started with the opening monologue talking about when people need someone, I know Gaga is almost like method about her musical performances.
Yes, she is.
She was stripped back, little or no makeup. She looked disheveled, but she was trying to get to
like
the
a t-shirt, right?
Yeah, t-shirt and jeans.
Yes.
It speaks to the fact she didn't have time to prepare. So like a professional, she said, there's going to be no spectacle. It's me, my voice, and the band.
Yeah.
And then when you hear him, she was note perfect to the point where they had the band fall back and just let her voice carry it. And you could see that even walking down the champagne carpet, she seemed very emotional. And that came into the performance. And I mean, kudos to her. She became Gaga and did what needed to be done.
You know, looking at Lady Gaga's performance, it took my mind back to the Poker Face days, the Bad Romance days. I feel like Lady Gaga has really evolved.
Oh gosh, yeah.
She's evolved incredibly from Shallow, the movie. What was that? The movie where
A Star Is Born.
A Star Is Born, from A Star Is Born, you know, to House of Gucci, and now, you know, just creating this beautiful song for this film. When I saw her on stage, the only thing that crossed my mind is, this is a woman who's understood that this is my art, and it's not about how I look or, you know, the razzmatazz around it. I just want to give a raw performance. As she's done in her movies, she did the same thing in that performance, and it was just a sight to behold. On the red carpet, I remember when the lady fell, and I mean,
she ran to help them.
Exactly, to go help her get up. And I was like, clearly she's had a lot of the star days and the, you know, extras and the glam, and now she just wants to be Lady Gaga, who is purely talented.
But I think she's
respected as well.
Yeah, as she's gotten older, she's going to that higher niveau of star.
Yes.
Where it's like, I've done the spectacle, I've
Yes.
done the extravagance.
Yes.
Now I'm an artist.
Yes.
Now I'm an Oscar level artist.
I'm not wearing meat on the carpet
There you go.
anymore. You know, meat and eggs.
Oh my God.
Remember those days?
Yeah.
So nice to see this Gaga, quite honestly. But that was classic, regardless. Back to you, Ken.
Yeah. Tell me about classic. You two look gorgeous. Judita, you don't have an Oscar, but if you do come back to Nigeria, maybe I'll give you one. Thank you so much, ladies.